Good afternoon. It's Monday, May 11. I'm Mai Rodriguez for your Midday Report. We'll be giving you the stories shaping the nation at this hour. Let's get you up to speed. The House of Representatives is set to vote today whether to impeach Vice President Sara Duterte. We get an update live from the Batasan Pambansa. The PNP-CIDG serves a subpoena for Senator Bato, Dela, Rosa in connection to the probe on extrajudicial killings. No threat of destabilization from the military. That assurance from Defense Secretary Gilbert Teodoro. And President Donald Trump rejects Iran's response to their proposal for peace talks to end the war. All eyes will be at the House of Representatives, where in a couple of hours, we're expecting voting to begin on the articles of impeachment against Vice President Sara Duterte. Last week, a panel found probable cause to impeach the Vice President for culpable violation of the Constitution, bribery, graft and corruption, other high crimes, and betrayal of public trust. Nagbabantay mula sa Batasang Pambansa si Isaiah Mirafuentes. Isaiah, ano ang inaasahan natin mamaya?
Yes, May, kulang-kulang 2 oras na nga lang ay magsisimula lang ang plenary session ng House of Representatives. At sa plenary session ay posibleng maganap na ang botohan kaugnay nga sa impeachment laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. 3 boto lang, May, ang pwedeng sabihin ng mga mambabatas, either yes, no, at ang pinaka-safe, abstain. Hindi pa man umaarangkada ang sesyon ng Kamara, nagprotesta sa labas ng Batasang Pambansa ang ilang progresibong grupo na pabor sa impeachment. Maliban sa Maharlika, nakiisa rin ang ilang kongresista sa kanilang protesta.
Dalhin na ang articles of impeachment sa Senate. Ito ang panawagan natin at ang panawagan ng taong bayan para naman makamit na natin yung pananagutan doon sa nakikita nating kinurakot na pera ng taong bayan.
Panawagan rin nila sa mga mambabatas, huwag magpadala sa takot, subalit bumoto ayon sa ebidensya.
Ang panawagan ng akbayan ngayong araw na ito sa mga members of the House of Representatives, piliin ang tapang. Alam natin itong nakaraang 2 araw, matindi yung pananakot, matindi yung black propaganda, matindi yung mga kasinungalingan na kumakalat.
Sa inaasahang botohan mamaya sa Kamara, 2 lang ang pwedeng mangyari. Kapag nakakuha ng 106 votes na pro-impeachment, tatawid na sa Senado ang impeachment ng bise. Pero kung hindi, otomatikong dismiss ang reklamo laban sa Vice Presidente. Confident ang ilang mambabatas na malalagpasan pa nila ang 1/3 votes at kakayanin para madoble ito. May dito nga sa House of Representatives ay kaabang-abang ang mga mangyayari sa mga susunod na oras. Pero nauna na nga nagsabi ang kampo ni Vice President Sara Duterte na hindi sila dadalo sa deliberation kaugnay nga rito at ngunit manunood na lang sila online. At una nga, May, na mangyayari mamaya, no, ay inaasahan natin magkakaroon muna ng sponsorship na pangungunahan niya ni House Committee on Justice Chair Jervil Luistro, at matapos ang sponsorship, doon na magaganap ang deliberation o pagbibigyan ng mga mambabatas na magbigay ng kanilang mga opinyon kaugnay nga sa mga laman ng articles of impeachment laban sa Vice Presidente. At matapos yan, May, ang pinakahuli, magaganap na ang botohan ng mga mambabatas. May.
So Isaiah, it's not a question of if, but how many votes? Ilan ang boto? Yun ang tanong, di ba?
Yes, May, tama ka dyan. Yun ang aabangan natin mamaya. Kasi as of now, base sa mga nakausap nating mambabatas, May, sa totoo lang halos lahat sila nagsasabi sa atin na lalagpas sa 106. But the question now, kung gaano kalaki yung magiging boto. Some are saying, especially according to Representative Terry Redo, naabot pa daw ito sa 215, which is doble ng inaasahang boto na, or required votes na dapat makuha dito sa Kamara. Ang sinasabi rin sa atin ng ilang mambabatas, posibleng nasa mga 180 to 190 lang, pero ang target daw mismo ng leadership ng Kamara ay umabot sa 200 votes. May.
Alright, aabangan natin yan. 3:00 mamayang hapon. Maraming salamat, Isaiah Mirafuentes ng Abante, live mula sa Batasang Pambansa. A new coalition allied with opposition leaders continues to gain support in its Visayas leg. Among those who expressed his support was Senator Bato de la Rosa, now the subject of a subpoena by the PNP-CIDG in connection with alleged extrajudicial killings and amid rumors of an arrest warrant by the ICC. Jill Sebandal has this report.
Yesterday in Visayas, the RAGE coalition held a large gathering with allied groups and various political leaders. The highlight of the event was the oath-taking of the new members of RAGE or Reform Alliance for Accountability, Good Governance, and Ethics. During the Visayas leg, the program focused on strengthening the coalition through the formal admission of new members. Among those who took their oath as new members of RAGE were former Ilocos Sur Governor Luis Chavit Singson and Congressman Kiko Barzaga. According to Barzaga,
within the RAGE coalition, well, my role is the same. It's amplifying the message of anti-corruption and of the good governance shared by Vice President Sara Duterte and the previous Duterte administration.
Meanwhile, it is also announced that after the Luzon and Visayas leg, the coalition will next head to Mindanao. Former COMELEC Commissioner Attorney Rowena Guanzon is expected to attend the upcoming gathering in Mindanao. Guanzon said she is ready to join and participate in the coalition's future activities.
For Mindanao, I promise nga tanan kaya ko adtuan pupuntahan ko talaga.
Support was also extended by Senator Bato de la Rosa through a voice record played during the gathering, where he reiterated his support for Vice President Sara Duterte amid current issues and the announcement of a subpoena by SILG.
Padayon ko sa pagsuporta kang VP Sara Duterte, Inday Sara, na nagpadayon sa pagserbisyo sa atong nasod.
This adds to the continuing expansion of the coalition following the oath-taking of the new members and its preparation for the upcoming Mindanao leg. Jill Sebandal, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Police have served a subpoena for Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, who has long been absent from the Senate. The PNP says this is in connection to the investigations on extrajudicial killings in Davao. Let's get the details from Joash Malimban. Joash, what's the latest?
The Philippine National Police Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, or CIDG, has formally served the subpoena against Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa in connection with the investigation into alleged extrajudicial killings in the Davao region. The investigation stems from findings discussed during Quad Committee hearings, as well as the alleged revelations made by self-confessed Davao Death Squad hitman and retired SPO3 Arturo Las Cañas. The subpoena was served at the Senate, but according to the CIDG, it was not received nor signed by the senator's staff due to the absence of instructions from De La Rosa. Authorities are also expected to serve the subpoena at the senator's known addresses in Davao City and Davao del Sur. Based on the subpoena, Senator De La Rosa is required to appear at Camp Kramin, Quezon City on or before May 14, 2026. Failure to comply may result in an indirect contempt of court complaint against the senator. De La Rosa has been considered as one of former President Rodrigo Duterte's co-conspirators in his crimes against humanity cases in the International Criminal Court due to his bloody war on drugs campaign. The senator has repeatedly denied involvement in unlawful killings in connection with the ruthless war on drugs, insisting that law enforcement actions during the Duterte administration were carried out within the bounds of the law. He has been in hiding for almost 6 months since November 2025. Mai.
Josh, how important is it that Senator Bato appear before authorities, especially with the impeachment complaint versus VP Sara Duterte expected to reach the Senate this week?
What's clear at this point is that the subpoena comes at a politically sensitive time, especially with expectations that the articles of impeachment against VP Sara could reach the Senate. My reports have also emerged claiming that some members of the Senate minority and Duterte allies were allegedly discussing a possible leadership change or coup within the chamber. According to sources, the effort was allegedly not gaining enough support, partly because Senator Bato was not present and some members of the majority coalition were not on board on the idea. The leadership question is significant, Mai, because under the Constitution, the Senate President would preside over any impeachment trial if an impeachment court is convened. On the legal side, there are differing opinions being raised publicly. Some lawyers have pointed to Republic Act 9851 in discussing possible scenarios if Dela Rosa appears before the authorities, while others note that failure to comply with the subpoena could lead to further legal actions. But as of now, Mai, there has been no public announcement from authorities about any order to take the senator into custody, nor has any court issued a bench warrant against him. Mai.
Josh, for now, may paramdam ba from Senator Bato or his staff? At ano ang mangyayari kung hindi siya sumipot sa Huwebes?
May nakausap natin yung legal counsel ni Senator Bato kanina na si Attorney Torion. Pero sinabi nila na part of their legal strategy is hindi muna sila magbibigay ng tugon regarding dito sa issue. Yung mangyayari kung hindi siya mag-a-appear dun sa Thursday, according to his subpoena, according to the authorities, possible na magkaroon ng indirect contempt complaint si Senator Bato, which means that a bench warrant can be issued against him if this complaint is filed before a local court or an RTC. Mai.
Thank you for that report, Joash Malimban. Political commentator Chris Tan questions the ongoing trend among congressional representatives declaring that they will not participate in today's impeachment vote. Speaking to BNC's memo, Tan believes that declaring non-participation enables some lawmakers to assess the political playing field.
Pero bakit ikaw? Ano yung vote? Ano yung, if Ronald thinks that it's 220, you think it will be less?
I think it'll be less. I think it'll be probably 215 at the most. Baka nga 200, yun na nga, baka may mag-absent, mag-abstain. Nagugulat nga ako sa mga ibang nagsasabi na, bakit sila nagsasabi na mag-a-abstain sila? Nagdedeklara. I'm like, bakit mo dinedeklara yun? Ano yun? Nagpaparamdam ka ba? Nagpaparinig ka ba sa mga particular people? You know?
Ano yun? Namimresyo? Ganon?
Oo. Parang gano'n. Parang nag-perform para, nag-audition para kay VP Sara ba itong mga to? Parang gano'n yung dating eh.
Tan also mentioned that political retaliation is already at play and may contribute to the hesitation of some lawmakers to give their actual vote. The country's defense chief assures the public there is no threat of destabilization from the military amid impeachment moves against the vice president. There is talk that a trial can happen as early as Wednesday. There's also talk again of a Senate coup. Lots of things happening. Let's get an update from Hana T, live from the Senate. Hana, what else did Secretary Gilbert say about supposed destabilization threats? Let's begin with an update from the defense chief.
Amid impeachment issues or possible moves or on destabilization efforts against the Marcos administration, Defense Secretary Gilbert Teodoro said there are currently no threats from the military. Despite the political noise surrounding the possible impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte, there are no active members of the military allegedly involved in destabilization efforts. On the part of retired military officials, Teodoro said they no longer have jurisdiction or influence over the armed forces, even if they continue to express their personal opinions in public. Teodoro added that rumors of military unrest have failed to materialize since EDSA Dos. According to Teodoro, part of the professionalization of the armed forces is staying away from politics, particularly now that the military is focused on modernization, internal security, and external defense. It's possible that the Senate could convene as an impeachment court as early as May 13 if the House of Representatives secures the required 106 votes and transmits the articles of impeachment against the VP this week. As of now, we're waiting for possible developments of Senate coup rumors. Over the weekend, Senate President Tito Soto said he will leave it to God's plan amid talks of another change in Senate leadership due to the impending trial of the Vice President. We've yet to hear from the camp of Senate Minority Leader Alan Peter Cayetano regarding this, but Soto said he serves at the pleasure of his peers. Senate Majority Member Win Gatchalian earlier said he believes that Soto remains on stable ground because of showing the right leadership, especially in times that the Senate is facing challenges like these. Soto became Senate President on September 2025 after replacing then Senate President Chis Escudero amid alleged dissatisfaction with the previous leadership's handling of investigations in the flood control scandal as well as the impeachment case of the VP last year. Mai?
Hana, dito sa supposed coup sa Senado, sino daw ang gusto ipalit kay SP Soto?
May base doon sa mga naibalita over the weekend, ang minamataan umanong pumalit kay SP Soto ay itong si Senator Loren Legarda. Pero ngayon lang may si Senator Robin Padilla ay nagpahayag ng kanyang pagtingin pagdating dito sa rumors ng Senate coup. At sinabi niya na speculation lang daw ito about an alleged plan nga to change the Senate leadership para raw mapigilang mag-convene itong impeachment court. At kung tawagin niya ay chismis daw ito. And he further maintained that the Senate majority remains stable, saying it should be already obvious to the public. At kung matatandaan natin, si Senator Robin Padilla, yung nagsabing papel ng Senate minority ang pag-o-oppose dito sa Senado. This is after nga sa posibleng development ng impending impeachment trial ni VP Sara dito sa Senado. At dininay niya yung allegations na ang Senate minority block daw ay sinusubukang i-block itong pag-convene ng impeachment court para sa impending trial ni VP Sara dahil yan daw ay constitutional mandate ng Senado. Mai?
Hana, pumunta naman tayo kay Senator Bato de la Rosa. May paramdam ba because of this subpoena that the PNP-CIDG just issued and also doon sa usapin ng kanyang sweldo? Marami ang nagbumungkahi na wag na siyang sweldohan.
May kaninang umaga, dumating nga itong mga tauhan ng PNP-CIDG sa mismong opisina ni Senator Bato de la Rosa para ihain itong subpoena kaugnay doon sa EJK cases na napag-usapan sa House Quad Committee hearings nitong nakaraang taon. At kung matatandaan natin, PNP Chief itong si de la Rosa sa panahon ng kampanya kontra droga under the Duterte administration, ang sabi ng staff, naabisuhan daw silang wag tanggapin itong at wag pirmahan itong nasabing subpoena at yun daw yung instruction sa kanila ni Senator Bato de la Rosa. Pero on the part naman of the PNP-CIDG, sinabi nilang ito ay deemed received despite the fact that it wasn't signed by the Senate staff. At they did, na-confirm din naman ng team ni Senator Bato na they did leave a copy of the subpoena, itong PNP-CIDG. Pero for them, they did not officially receive the copy at base na nga rin doon sa naunang paulat ng PNP-CIDG, posibleng dumaan or mahantong ito sa indirect contempt ng senador if he fails to comply with the subpoena. Mai?
Maraming salamat, Hanati. May report ng live mula sa Senado. A health reform advocate is set to file a complaint against Executive Secretary Ralph Recto and former PhilHealth CEO Emmanuel Ledesma. That story and more when Midday Report returns. You're back on Midday Report. Health reform advocate Dr. Tony Lichon plans to file a complaint against Executive Secretary Ralph Recto and former PhilHealth CEO Emmanuel Ledesma in connection with PhilHealth funds. Lichon tells BNC is at the forefront 180 billion and not 60 should have been returned to PhilHealth. Liachon adds the 106 billion pesos worth of supposed excess funds taken from the Philippine Deposit Insurance Corporation or PDIC should also be returned.
Dinideclare ko na rito, magpa-file ako talaga ng cases for alleged technical malversation based on the things na nalalaman ko at para susugan ko din yung iba nag-file. According to Justice Carpio in many of the interviews, this is an alleged technical malversation. At yun siguro ifa-file ko in the next 2 weeks. Pero yung urgent, yung binanggit ko sa iyo kanina is to review. Kasi mahigit na 1 taon na yung pag-file ko sa Supreme Court ng zero subsidy. Re-reviewin ko to.
Liachon also asserts Health Secretary Dr. Ted Herbosa should also be held accountable for the fiasco. The lawyers of controversial PGMN anchor CJ Hirro appear before the National Bureau of Investigation after the vlogger posted the supposed video expose that will allegedly tie former House Speaker Martin Romualdez to corruption and the flood control scam. Andrea Salve is reporting live from the NBI in Pasay City. Andrea, go ahead.
Only the lawyers of PGMN anchor CJ Hirro appeared before the NBI OTCD today to respond to a subpoena linked to the ongoing probe into the alleged extortion attempt against former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Earlier, NBI Director Melvin Matibag said Hirro has been tagged as a person of interest in the case due to her alleged involvement in the production of the so-called expose video against the former speaker. After days of social media silence, Hirro reappeared online Sunday night and posted the controversial video herself, claiming it was, and I quote, the story that Martin Romualdez wanted to kill. Before the video was released, the network issued a statement maintaining its innocence following the release of PGMN founder Franco Mabanta and his group from detention on Saturday. The network denied the extortion allegations and insisted that it was Romualdez's camp that repeatedly reached out to them. They also claimed the NBI operation was an illegal setup. Last Tuesday, authorities arrested Mabanta and 4 other individuals at a country club in Pasig City after they allegedly received entrapment money placed inside suitcases. Back to you, Mai.
Andrea, have you spoken to CJ Hirro's lawyer and what did they say as to where she is?
My Hirro's counsel, Attorney Lian Kakapit, told us his client is currently out of town. He also denied reports that Hirro is evading authorities following the arrest of Franco Mabanta and 4 other personalities linked to the case. Sabi pa ni Attorney Kakapit ay walang dapat ikatago yung kanyang kliyente. Mai.
Andrea, what happens next at ano ang sinasabi nitong mga lawyers ni CJ Hirro regarding doon sa supposed expose na nilabas ng PGMN? Sinasabi nila ito raw ang magtuturo kay Martin Romualdez as the mastermind ng flood control scandal. Pero marami ang nadismaya at marami rin ang nagsasabi na hindi naman talaga siya expose.
Tama, Mai. We've actually read mixed reactions from those who already watched the video. But according to Hirro's lawyer, ay dapat hintayin na lang yung kanyang kliyente ang sumagot dito sa mga reaksyon na ito. Earlier, they secured a copy of the subpoena saying their camp had yet to receive the document. They also requested a reset of the hearing para bigyan ng dagdag oras si Hirro na mag-respond doon. And they are now eyeing a tentative date scheduled next week, most probably, which her camp says they will prepare for. Mai.
Thank you, Andrea Salve, live from the NBI in Pasay City. In response to the ever-growing number of troll farms in the country, DICT Secretary Henry Aguda says that they can raid these establishments anytime. In an exclusive interview on Memo, Aguda states that these troll farms need to be monitored closely, especially if they are involved in anything related to destabilization and the sale of illegal financial instruments, among many others.
So kumbaga parang mas safe para sa may inaalaga ang mga troll na totoong mga tao at marami. At sa bawat isang tao, Willard, 50 account ang ginagawa nila.
Sabay-sabay, no?
Sabay-sabay. Oo. So, yun po ba hindi pwedeng i-raid?
Pwede yun.
Pwede?
Pwede yun. May mga violation yung mga yan. Pag ginamit nila yan for destabilization and ganyan, mariraid yan. Kung ginagamit nila yan to sell illegal financial instruments, mariraid din yan. Depende kung anong krimen ang nagaganap doon.
Secretary Aguda also warns that the public that engaging with them only worsens netizens' social media addiction. Motorists, particularly those who use diesel, can expect another big rollback tomorrow, while there may be a slight increase for gasoline. Let's get Che Sulit to report. Che, tell us about how much is the expected rollback.
Yes, Mai, diesel users may finally get some relief at the pump this coming Tuesday, while gasoline motorists could face another price hike. An informant tells Bilyonaryo News Channel diesel prices may go down by nearly 10 pesos per liter. Gasoline, however, may see a slight increase of almost 50 centavos per liter. These are also reportedly the computed price adjustments of the Energy Department, the source adds. They also explained that the mean of flat Singapore, or MOPS, the benchmark used in pricing petroleum products, has declined in the previous trading days. This came as crude oil prices in global markets eased, leading to lower prices for diesel and other middle distillates. The market trends may be attributed to the diplomatic signals between the U.S. and Iran last week. The source also said that the drop in diesel MOPS prices became more pronounced due to the continued easing of cargo premiums, the fees paid to insurance companies to protect shipments against damage, theft, or loss. Meanwhile, the source said gasoline MOPS prices remain elevated due to possible supply tightening amidst rising seasonal demand. This also pushed gasoline cargo premiums higher this week. It has been more than 2 months since tensions in the Middle East escalated, triggering a series of oil price hikes in the country. The impacts remain a major challenge for the industry sector. The Federation of Philippine Industries says that manufacturers are already feeling the squeeze as high inflation continues while factory activity remains weak. The group said that as long as external pressures and supply chain disruptions persist, the operating environment will remain difficult for import-dependent economies like the Philippines. Consumers have also tightened their belts, trying to better manage their finances amid the ongoing crisis. Data released by the Philippine Statistics Authority shows that household spending growth slowed to a 5-year low of 3% in Q1 2026. This comes as Filipinos continue to grapple with elevated inflation, which averaged 7.2% in the first 3 months of the year. That's the latest from my end. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Che Sulit, reporting. BSP Monetary Board member Ben Jokno explains the reasons behind the creation of the Maharlika Wealth Fund. Through BNC's The Spokes, Secretary Jokno explained that the Maharlika Fund was made to lessen the country's reliance on the World Bank, especially when it comes to building local infrastructure.
What was the inspiration for I remember it was you were one of those who initiated
in fact,
having a sovereign
the
wealth
concept
fund.
of sovereign wealth fund, I thought about that when I was central bank governor, because we have huge international reserves.
Yes.
And I think we don't need all the 110 billion US dollars. We can use part of that to finance our infrastructure. So instead of borrowing money from the World Bank or the ADB or other financial institutions, we can use that money, right? So that initial idea came when I was central bank governor. But that was supposed to supplement our investment needs, because as you know, during the 30 years, I was the one who initiated what we call golden age of infrastructure.
Correct.
Which later became build. I was thinking that fund will be used for infrastructure projects that will give benefits for
Yes.
future generations.
Yes.
Because we've been underspending.
In Indonesia, they were able to use it for like social services later on. Like
No, but I wouldn't use it for social services. I think it's really for infrastructure spending.
Investments.
In fact, on infrastructure, I have a bias towards mass transit system,
Correct.
rail system, subway. In fact, my pet project, I hope it materializes, is a subway, a rail system that goes from Luzon down to Mindanao.
Jokno also explained why he declined to manage the fund.
It was actually offered to you as well, na ikaw maging presidente ng Maharlika Fund. Siguro, unang tanong namin, so why did you decline? And number two, as Margo said, ano bang latest ngayon dyan sa Maharlika Fund? Have they been achieving what were they supposed to achieve? Dasa na sila ngayon?
I'd like to confirm that was offered to me by the president, but I said I'm better off. I think I'll have a more contribution as BSP member of the board because Maharlika is a new institution.
Correct.
You need a lot of effort there. We might as well ask the leadership of Maharlika, not me.
Secretary Jokno took pride in being the promulgator of the Maharlika Wealth Fund, deeming himself as the one who introduced the golden age of infrastructure during the Duterte administration. The president of Paraguay is in Malacanang as part of his state visit to the Philippines. Ivy Reyes joins us for more. Hi, Ivy. What were the key issues tackled?
Yes, my Paraguayan President Santiago Peña Palacios is on his second day of his official visit to the Philippines, Paraguay's first since diplomatic ties were established in 1962. Palacios arrived at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport past 3 in the afternoon yesterday and was welcomed by Trade Secretary Cristina Roque. In this historic visit to Paraguay, trade, investment, and agriculture are the three key areas of bilateral talks. According to Malacanang, the visit aims to strengthen cooperation between Philippines and Paraguay. Palacios is an economist by profession and was the former Minister of Finance who advocated for modernizing their economy and furthering foreign investment. During their bilateral meeting this morning, Palacios pledged the country's commitment to help aid food security in the Philippines. 3 agreements were signed by Asuncion and Manila, with a memorandum of understanding waiving visa requirements for Filipinos with regular passports entering Paraguay. Another MOU was signed for the diplomatic training between the foreign ministries of both countries. And a memorandum of agreement with Paraguay's investment and export network was inked together with the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry. On trade, President Marcos raised the possibility of exporting tuna, sardines, and milk fish to Paraguay, aside from earlier talks on renewable energy and food security. President Palacios has clarified his country's first visit on Philippine soil is out of their political will to engage the Philippines as mutual understanding of and respect for international law. And for President Marcos's part, he hinted on a visit to Paraguay as the Philippines has to return the favor of the Latin Americans' official visit. Mai?
Thank you, Ivy Reyes, reporting from Malacanang. Coming up next, the latest on the Hantavirus outbreak and a storm back here at home when Midday Report returns. President Donald Trump rejects Iran's response to a U.S. proposal for peace talks to end the war, as 2 ships were allowed to pass through the blockaded Strait of Hormuz. Ryan Brooks reports.
Iran on Sunday sent its response to a U.S. proposal to end the war, but U.S. President Donald Trump rejected it within hours. In an online post, Trump said that, quote, "I have just read the response from Iran's so-called representatives. I don't like it, totally unacceptable." Iran's state news agency said Tehran's demands include an immediate end to the war, a halt to the U.S. naval blockade, guarantees against further attacks, and the lifting of all sanctions, including the U.S. ban on Iranian oil. Shortly after Trump's post, the Iran state news agency quoted a source saying that Trump's reaction, quote, "doesn't matter at all," and that no one in Iran drafts plans to please the U.S. president. It all followed an earlier U.S. proposal to end fighting in a limited pact that puts off harder issues like Iran's nuclear program. Trump has been under pressure to draw a line under the war, which has set off a global energy crisis. After the start of the war, Iran blockaded the Strait of Hormuz, which had carried a fifth of the world's oil supply. Sunday's news came after hostile drones were spotted over multiple Gulf countries despite the month-long ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran and breaking 48 hours of relative calm. However, 2 ships passed through the Strait of Hormuz on Sunday. Data from shipping firm Kepler showed one of them was a Qatari liquid natural gas tanker. Sources said it was heading for Pakistan to offer some relief after a wave of power blackouts caused by stymied imports of gas, and that the transfer was an Iranian show of goodwill to Pakistan and Qatar, who are both involved in mediating peace talks. Clashes have also continued in southern Lebanon between Israel and the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah, despite a U.S.-brokered ceasefire weeks ago. The latest talks between Israel and Lebanon are due to start in Washington on Thursday.
That was Ryan Brooks reporting. An update on the Hantavirus outbreak on a cruise ship. One of the 5 French passengers evacuated from the ship showed symptoms during a repatriation flight to Paris. The French ministry said all were placed under a 72-hour quarantine for full medical assessment. The passengers would then be sent home for 45 days of isolation. Officials said the passengers were transported in military buses and government planes without contact with the public. 3 passengers had died, 2 of them confirmed to have been infected with the virus. China launches the Chang'e 10 cargo spacecraft to deliver supplies to its space station. The spacecraft lifted off from Hainan and entered its designated orbit about 10 minutes later, according to the China Manned Space Agency. Chang'e 10 is carrying nearly 6.2 tons of supplies, including a new spacesuit, a space treadmill, propellant, and maintenance parts for future crews. The cargo spacecraft is expected to remain in orbit for 12 months after docking in the space station. The Minnesota Timberwolves went 2-for-2 against the San Antonio Spurs in Game 4, putting a halt to the Spurs' momentum and living to see another game. Timberwolves sensation Anthony Edwards did not disappoint in his spur-of-the-moment counter, maneuvering over Spurs guardian deity Victor Wembanyama and closing the win 114-109. Pegged as one of the hottest face-offs this season, the 2 teams will face each other again on Game 5 this Wednesday, 9 a.m. Philippine time. Meanwhile, the New York Knicks erupt for 25 three-pointers to crush the Philadelphia 76ers 144-114 and complete a second-round playoff sweep. Miles McBride scored 25 points with 7-pointers, while Jalen Brunson added 22 points. New York tied NBA playoff records for the most three-pointers in a quarter, half, and game. The Knicks advances to their second straight Eastern Conference Finals. They will face either top-seeded Detroit Pistons or fourth-seeded Cleveland Cavaliers for a spot in the NBA Finals. Despite seeing her impressive run in the Italian Open come to an end, Filipina tennis sensation Alex Ayala showed she can compete with the world's best on clay. Anton Rojas has the story.
Filipina rising star Alex Ayala fought hard but fell short against world number 2 Elena Rybakina of Kazakhstan in the third round of the Italian Open in Rome. Ayala displayed some of the best clay court tennis of her young career, despite a straight sets loss 6-4, 6-3 against the relentless former Wimbledon champion who recorded her 29th win of the season. The 20-year-old Filipina showed poise in her first ever meeting with Rybakina, even taking a 2-1 lead in the second set after breaking the Kazakhstani star to love. But Rybakina responded with her powerful serve and aggressive shot making, finishing with 6 aces and 28 winners. With the victory, Rybakina advanced to the round of 16 in Rome, where she won the title in 2023. Despite the loss, Ayala continues to build momentum after reaching the third round of a clay tournament for the first time in her career, and she is expected to compete in the main draw of the French Open later this month. Anton Rojas, Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Check on the weather. The storm Kaloy has been downgraded to a tropical depression, slowing down as it moves northwest over the Philippine Sea. Kaloy was last spotted east of Giwan, eastern Samar, with winds of 45 kilometers per hour. In the next 12 hours, Kaloy will remain far from landmass and is forecast to further weaken into a remnant low-pressure area today. Most of the rain is seen tonight over the Zamboanga Peninsula, the Lanao provinces, and Cotabato. Let's check the rainfall forecast, please, for Mindanao. Let's get this over here on the screen. There you have it. The Lanao provinces over here and Cotabato, also the Zamboanga Peninsula, will see about 3 hours of rain from 5 to 8 p.m. tonight, but this all clears by tonight and tomorrow. It's mostly fair conditions for most of Mindanao. And the rest of the country as well, with the easterlies still prevailing across the archipelago, bringing warm winds from the Pacific. We're watching the heat index, which could reach highs of 44 degrees Celsius today in Dagupan, Pangasinan, Apari, Cagayan, Casiguran, Aurora, San Jose, Occidental Mindoro, Cuyo in Palawan, and Dumangas in Iloilo. While at the Science Garden in Quezon City, it is forecast to reach 41 degrees Celsius. We're seeing good weather for Metro Manila, Baguio, Davao, and Cebu City today and the next 3 days. As expected, very hot in Metro Manila. Actual temperatures will range from 27 or 28 to 36 degrees Celsius. In Baguio, temperatures range from 18 to 25 degrees Celsius, while Davao will see highs of 34 degrees. Mostly good conditions there, just occasional rains on Thursday, as you can see here. And same with Cebu, good weather in Cebu. Temperatures there range from 27 to 33 degrees Celsius. That's how skies are shaping up. Stay hydrated and stay safe. Fans from across Europe gather in Vienna for the opening party of the 2026 Eurovision Song Contest. Attendees took part in sing-alongs and welcomed this year's contestants during the turquoise carpet event in the Austrian capital. Fans identified Finland as an early favorite, while others backed different entries, including Israel's contestant. The competition's 70th anniversary comes amid a boycott by Iceland, Ireland, the Netherlands, Slovenia, and Spain over Israel's conduct in the Gaza war.
Sehr schade. Ich verstehe grundsätzlich.
I think it's a real shame. I understand the basic intention behind it all, but at the end of the day, this is a music contest and politics should be left out of it.
Sollte man irgendwo ausblenden.
I can only agree, really. I mean, it's a shame because we've always had a great time with the Spanish, and we've had a great time with the Dutch too. We just hope that they decide to take part again next year, so that we can then have a huge party with the whole of Europe.
The televised annual celebration of pop music is watched by around 150 million viewers worldwide. The Devil Wears Prada 2 holds the #1 spot at the North American box office. The Disney sequel earned $43 million in its second weekend and hit $433 million globally. Mortal Kombat 2 opens in second place with $40 million domestic and $63 million worldwide, despite mixed reviews and a higher budget. Michael ranks third with $36.5 million in its third weekend, pushing its global total to $577 million and making it the top-grossing musical biopic in North America. New entries Sheep Detectives and Billie Eilish Hit Me Hard and Soft, the tour, open in 4th and 5th place. Overall box office performance remains strong compared to last year. Rihanna gets a new tattoo featuring scribbles drawn by her children. Celebrity tattoo artist Bang Bang shared photos and videos of the new design tattooed on the singer's lower leg behind her knee. Rihanna shares 3 children with rapper A$AP Rocky, including sons Riza and Riot and daughter Rocky. And that's the Midday Report. I'm Mai Rodriguez. See you again tomorrow at 1 p.m. Stay informed and stay safe.